Would you risk everything to save a helpless creature, even if danger was nearby? Amara did, but what happened next was unforgettable. Was it trust, instinct, or something more? Dive into this gripping rescue and share your thoughts below. Under the blazing African sun, Amara's patrol vehicle rolled slowly across the vast savanna, a thin trail of dust rising behind it. She sat behind the wheel, her eyes constantly scanning the tall grass and scattered rocks, ever watchful. As a veteran ranger, she had spent countless hours navigating the wilderness, but she knew that nature was always full of surprises. The land had a way of keeping secrets, and it was her job to uncover them. The vehicle's tires crunched over the dry earth, and the wind stirred the dusty air around them. Amara adjusted her sunglasses, squinting into the horizon. The vastness of the savanna stretched endlessly before her, untamed, free, and full of life, but also full of dangers. For every peaceful moment, there was an unseen threat waiting. The team was used to it, accustomed to the sudden rush of adrenaline that came with every new challenge. Then, just as Amara was about to signal the team to move forward, a faint sound reached her ears, a soft, almost imperceptible whimper carried by the wind. It was weak, but enough to make her stop. Her instincts flared to life, and in a swift motion, she slammed the brakes. The vehicle screeched to a halt, the dust settling behind them in the quiet stillness. "Did you hear that?" Amara's voice was calm, but there was an edge of focus and alertness to it. Malik, a young ranger on her team, turned his head to listen, his eyes narrowing in concentration. He tilted his head slightly, his sharp hearing picking up the same sound. After a moment, he nodded, confirming what Amara had suspected. "Sounds like a lion cub." Without wasting a second, Amara signaled to the team. "Stay sharp, everyone. Let's move out." The rangers disembarked, their boots crunching on the dry earth as they moved swiftly, following Amara toward the sound. Each step was calculated, each moment filled with the quiet intensity of the hunt. The group moved with purpose, their training kicking in as they scanned the surroundings for any signs of danger. As they neared the source of the sound, Amara pushed aside thick foliage. What she saw made her heart clench. A lion cub, no older than 3 months, was trapped in an old steel pipe. The pipe was rusted, its sharp edges reflecting the harsh sunlight. The cub's golden eyes were wide with panic. Its front legs were wedged deep inside the pipe, and its head was pressed uncomfortably against the opening. The cub's fur was dusty and matted, its skin scratched from struggling for hours or even days. Amara crouched down carefully, making sure to keep enough distance to avoid startling the cub. She studied it for a moment, assessing the situation. The little lioness looked fragile, exhausted. Amara could see the fear in its eyes, and the weight of the moment sank in. Saving the cub would not be easy. There was always a risk in approaching wild animals, especially one so young and vulnerable. "It's okay, little one," she whispered softly, her voice calm and soothing. Her experience told her that animals often responded to gentle words, even in the face of fear. She needed the cub to trust her. It was the only way they could help it. Malik, who had been standing just behind her, tapped her shoulder. His voice was tense, filled with concern. "Amara, look." Amara turned her head, and her heart began to race. Not far from them, on top of a small hill, a pride of lions was watching them. At the forefront stood a large lioness, likely the cub's mother. She was staring directly at them, her body tensed, ready to act at any moment. Her ears were perked, her muscles coiled, as if she could charge at any second. Behind her, several other lions, 2 males and a few females, stood, their postures alert. Amara felt a wave of unease wash over her. They had to be careful. If they made the wrong move, if they hurt the cub in any way, the lioness would attack. She knew that the pride was protective of their young, and a mother lion would do anything to protect her cub. "If we move too quickly or hurt the cub, the pride won't hesitate to attack," Amara murmured, her gaze fixed on the lioness. Her thoughts raced, considering every possible outcome. She was used to dangerous situations, but this one felt different. The stakes were higher. Malik swallowed hard, his voice filled with uncertainty. "So what do we do?" Amara took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. She couldn't let fear cloud her judgment. "We work fast, but carefully. If the mother realizes we're helping her cub, she might not attack." With that, Amara turned back to the cub. She needed to assess its condition before anything else. Kneeling down, she gently placed her hand on its small body. The cub flinched, letting out a weak hiss, but it was too exhausted to resist. Amara could feel the rapid pounding of its heartbeat under her palm. The cub was terrified, but it wasn't fighting. It was too tired. "You're scared, aren't you?" she whispered softly, her voice full of compassion. "Hold on, little one. We'll get you out." She studied the pipe closely. The edges were rusted, and the inside was rough, likely the cause of the cub's injury. The pipe was narrow, and pulling the cub out forcefully could result in broken bones or worse. Amara's experience as a ranger had taught her that they had to be careful in these situations. It wasn't just about speed. It was about ensuring the cub's safety. "We need to moisten the area around its body to reduce friction," Amara said, her voice steady. She quickly grabbed a clean cloth from the medical kit, soaked it in water, and gently dripped the liquid over the cub's neck and shoulders. The dust on its fur washed away, revealing soft skin beneath. The cub's body tensed at the touch, but Amara kept her movements gentle, trying to keep it calm. "Now, let's try pushing it out," Amara instructed, signaling to Malik. Malik knelt down beside her, one hand carefully supporting the cub's head, the other holding its body in place. Amara placed both hands on the cub's hips and gently pushed. The cub squirmed weakly, but it barely moved. It whimpered, its legs trembling beneath it. "It's not working," Amara said, shaking her head in frustration. She could feel the pipe constricting around the cub, making it impossible to pull it free. "The pipe is too tight. If we pull any harder, we might dislocate its joints or injure it further." She glanced at the pride. The lioness had stepped even closer, her body language now even more tense. Her tail flicked back and forth, a clear sign of agitation. The other lions, including the males, were still, but their eyes were fixed on the group, watching every move they made. The situation was becoming more dangerous with each passing second. Amara quickly made a decision. "We need to cut the pipe." Without waiting for a response, Malik ran back to the vehicle to grab the metal cutter. The engine roared to life as he started the cutter, and the blade met the steel pipe with a sharp screech. Sparks flew, and the cub flinched at the noise, its body trembling. Amara quickly placed her hand on its forehead, whispering softly to it. "Almost there, little one. Just hold on." The team worked in silence, the sound of the cutter cutting through the metal, the only noise breaking the stillness. Bit by bit, the blade sliced through the pipe, taking extreme care not to harm the cub. Amara could feel the tension in the air. The lioness was growing more restless with each passing second. The pride, still standing close by, seemed ready to act if anything went wrong. Finally, after more than 20 minutes of painstaking work, the last section of metal was cut away. Amara moved quickly, crouching down and gently pulling the cub free from the pipe. It let out a small cry as it was freed, its body trembling from exhaustion. But as soon as it was out of the pipe, it wobbled to its feet. Just then, a deep roar echoed across the savannah. The lioness was charging toward them. "Back away now," Malik shouted, his voice filled with urgency. The team quickly stepped back, never taking their eyes off the lioness. The cub, after a brief moment of hesitation, finally recognized its mother. It blinked and then sprinted toward her. The moment the cub reached its mother, the lioness bent down and sniffed it thoroughly. Then she gently licked the cub's forehead. Amara exhaled in relief. She wasn't sure if the lioness understood what they had done, but at that moment, the look in her eyes was no longer filled with pure hostility. It was a look of cautious acceptance. The pride slowly turned and began to disappear into the dense bush. Amara stood there, her eyes fixed on the cub, now pressed against its mother's legs. A soft breeze swept through the air, carrying the scent of the African plains with it. Malik walked up beside her, still catching his breath from the tense encounter. He glanced at Amara, a small smile on his face. "Do you think the lioness knows we just saved her cub?" Amara tilted her head, recalling the moment when the lioness locked eyes with her before turning away. It wasn't gratitude in the human sense, but it wasn't pure hostility either. It was something in between, a silent understanding. "I'm not sure," Amara replied, a small smile tugging at her lips. But maybe, for a brief moment, she understood that we weren't her enemies. Malik chuckled and patted her shoulder. Either way, today was unforgettable. The team gathered their equipment, extinguished any lingering sparks from the cutter, and returned to their vehicle. As the engine rumbled to life, Amara took one last glance at the vast landscape, where the sunset bathed the wilderness in a golden red hue. She knew there would be many more challenges ahead: trapped animals, poachers, and the unpredictable forces of nature. But at that moment, watching a small life return to freedom, she knew that every effort was worth it. As their vehicle rolled away, a small figure appeared in the distance at the edge of the trees. It was the lion cub. For a brief moment, it turned and looked back at them. Its golden eyes glinted under the twilight sky. Then, as if understanding it had been given a second chance, it stepped forward and followed its mother into the wild, where it truly belonged. Amara smiled softly, then drove away, leaving nature to continue its own story. This story highlights the deep bond between humans and wildlife, emphasizing compassion, courage, and conservation. Amara's daring rescue of the lion cub reflects humanity's duty to protect nature. The mother lion's cautious yet accepting response suggests unspoken trust. The tale also serves as a reminder of the unintended harm human activities can cause to wildlife, stressing the need for awareness. In the end, the cub's return to the wild symbolizes freedom and the lasting impact of kindness. If you love thrilling and meaningful stories about courage and the bond between humans and nature, don't forget to hit the like button to support us. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an exciting story. If you found this video inspiring, share it with your friends and family to spread the message of kindness and wildlife conservation. Thank you for being a part of our journey.